So sit right back and you'll hear a tale of me and games. Welcome everybody to another Top 5 Friday. This is part 2. You guys seem to like the other video where I talked about my beginnings in terms of collecting, so I figured let's do another one. Now, as a reminder, if you didn't watch the first video, this is basically how I got started collecting. When my grandfather passed away, I started getting really nostalgic for old retro video games. This was in the early 2000s, and this was before I started going to flea markets and certainly before Game Chasers. I started going on eBay, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over the games that I got on eBay in those very early stages for dirt cheap and that have actually still been in my collection this whole time. These are the actual games, and as I said in the other video, it's kind of getting nostalgic to think about the way I was nostalgic 20 years ago for this stuff. It's come full circle in a way. But first, this video has been brought to you by Babbel. Babbel is a language learning app that teaches you how to have conversations in another language in as little as 3 weeks. And their tools can help anybody with any skill set. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of experience and just want to get fluent or no experience whatsoever. This tool can help you get where you need to go. I actually was never really that great at learning new languages. It was all just memorization. But here they have multiple ways that you can learn with lessons and games and videos and even online virtual classes with top teachers. So it really goes beyond just simple memorization. You're really taught to understand the meaning behind what you're learning. And while other apps use AI technology, which I don't like, this app actually uses real-life instructors. The lessons here are built by a team of 100+ experts and voiced by native speakers, real-life, actual people. Now with what we do, go into a lot of flea markets, tons and tons and tons of Spanish speakers at those flea markets. And I've been told gringos get better deals if they can speak Spanish. So hopefully that's gonna happen. Just 10 minutes a day is all you need, and in 3 weeks, you'll be able to start having conversations in another language. So to get Babbel, all you gotta do is click the link below, and this is a special link because it'll get you 60% off. 60% off. So start learning a new language today.
Oh, it's Friday night. I don't know what I'm gonna do tonight. I could sit here and pick my nose while I watch a brand new video. Whoa, Top 5 Friday tonight.
I don't know which ones came before which, so it's all kind of a random pick here. But I'm gonna start with the worst one of the bunch. It is this monstrosity. It's Home Alone. I don't know why I got this. You can get boxed NES games around 10 to 20 bucks back then, and that's probably why I picked it up. I picked it up because I had rented it back in the day. It was a very horrible rental, but I guess even in this time of eBay, I was getting the main things, the things that I really enjoyed, but then also I was like, man, we rented that once. I didn't really like it, but man, I kind of still have a little bit of nostalgia for it. I should go ahead and get it as well. I've talked about this game before. It's not great. It's actually not good either. For like 20 minutes running around from Harry and Marv in this house, just setting up traps. And by setting up traps, that sounds a lot cooler than it actually is. Really, that just means getting an icon and then setting that same icon down somewhere else. And that's it. There's something about it. I don't know. It's one of those games where I hate it, but I love it at the same time. Anyway, the game box is in such great condition, and I had to pick this up. It was just a no-brainer. Well, maybe I had no brain. I faked it. So I got swindled on eBay. Actually, bamboozled is the better word. I'll save that for number 1, but it was the first time I ever got tricked, and I learned my lesson after that. But anyway, number 4 on the list is the Rocketeer. Now this was a rental back in the day that I really enjoyed, and I know I've talked about this before, but I kind of feel that it's a little bit underrated. Side-scrolling NES game, platformer, run and gun, whatever. But I thought it was kind of cool. You get to use the jetpack to navigate the pretty expansive levels that kind of sometimes feel like they kind of go on a little too long, and then it's also kind of really annoying when you start running out of fuel for your rocket pack. Really got a lot out of it. I thought it was really super cool. I mean, I like the Rocketeer anyway, so that was probably had a little bit to do with it. And when you watch a really awesome movie, you get the game, and the game is halfway decent. not a big pile of crap like a lot of movie games were. You really enjoy a lot more because of the subject matter, I think. At least I did. Things would just not get any bids on it, or get bids, and the bids would be really low. And some of these, I don't remember if they were buy it nows or bids. And I saw it, and I knew I had to have it because of my experience with the game. So yeah, this is another one that I've had for a very long time now. Alright, next up we have RoboCop II. This game I actually like, despite the controls being just a throbbing pile of rat garbage. What they tried to do with the controls is make you feel like you're controlling a big behemoth, and so the inertia to get it going. It's like in real life, well, if you're that heavy, it's not gonna, it's gonna be hard to start accelerating. Well, they did that, and then it's also gonna be hard to kind of stop when you're heavier. And then they incorporated that into the controls. Look, it's a game. You don't have to be that close to real life, okay? When it comes to a game, don't get cutesy, all right? Well, in real life, if something was walking around and it was 500 pounds and a robot, then this is what the physics would... It's a video game. Just make the controls fun and responsive and have them not be a hindrance. But despite that, I like the game, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that this is one of the few NES games I actually owned. I owned 5 NES games. I'm lucky enough to where I started collecting on eBay before like the big wave of just price shooting out of the butts happened. All right, time for number 2. The number 2, I don't have a visual because I didn't feel like going up there and unhooking the entire console. So you'll have to use your imagination, or I could just put it virtually here. Okay, so number 2 is the Atari 2600 and a stack of games. This is actually, in a way, what spawned Game Chasers, kind of. So I was like, man, I got all these NES games. I'm starting to get Super Nintendo games. What I really need now is an Atari. Because, man, I got some major memories with an Atari. And what I would do is, because I didn't want to pay for shipping, I would look for local people on eBay selling an Atari with some games. And I found one. I found one that was like 30 miles away. So I paid for it. I messaged them, hey, can I pick this up? And they actually happened to have a mom and pop pawn shop as well. So yeah, I went right over there, picked it up, and the first thing I did was go to Jay's apartment. This is so early on that this wasn't even the apartment that he's in now. This was like 1 or 2 apartments before that. I go in and I say, hey, look what I got. And I put it down. I don't even know if at this point he knew that I had started kind of recollecting video games. But for me, this was all new. This is stuff that I was getting and playing for the first time in a long, long time. And for the first time in a long, long time, we're talking at that point, probably 20 years. I was actually in possession and could play an Atari 2600. He was completely jealous. He was like, man, where's my Atari? I want one. But I do remember him being like, all right, it's on now. I'm gonna go look for video games too. And then after that, we started to team up, and then we started to film ourselves, and now I'm doing this. Yeah, this one made me mad because I got taken. I was on eBay. I saw a game that was ending, and I was like, that is a must. I have to get that one. I have so many memories of that. It was actually one of my favorite games in that era, if not my favorite game in that era. Absolutely, it was my favorite game in that era, actually. We're talking like pre-NES days. I have to get it. It was burger time. And it was pretty cheap. I believe it was like $10. Factory sealed. Look at that. It's all factory sealed. You can see the little circles here. The little thingy here at the back. I don't know what you call it. It's not an H seam. And they only had like pictures like this and like that. Conveniently for them, I guess they maybe just plumb forgot. They didn't take a picture of the top of it. So I was so excited. I was like, man, this is so cool. I'm gonna get my burger time, and it's gonna be factory sealed. And now I just gotta get myself a television. To play it on. Side note, I actually ended up getting a television shortly after this, and it had a lot of games with it, one of them being a burger time that was loose, so I didn't actually have to open this up, which is why it remained sealed till this day. I say sealed very loosely though, because as you can see on the top, this was a thing, and I can actually see in there bowling. Yeah, so I was kind of upset about that because the pics didn't show this, nor did it say it had damage. Now I don't remember what the seller's score was. Maybe he was a 1, I don't know. But I do know one thing, and that is I am too damn lazy to return something. I'm not gonna return it. That's just too much effort. I have to box it back up. I'm gonna have to go to the post office. If there's damage on something, you gotta show the pic. You gotta show it. You can't hide it. What do you think, they're gonna open up the box and just plumb not see it? They're gonna grab it like this and go, oh, good job, okay, well that's cool, let's game. Item as described. That's not how it works. Just be truthful. You'll spit better in the end. Anyway, I like ghoulies. Man, having this remote to turn off the video is so convenient now. Here we go. All right, video over. Now, just a matter of getting up and putting everything back where it needs to go. Oh no! Oh man! Oh, it hurts. It hurts so much. Ah!